I'm Daniel Levine, and this is the Bio Report. Artificial intelligence promises to reshape the healthcare landscape and deliver new insights into the molecular drivers of health and wellness, provide rapid diagnoses of patients, and discover and design therapies that extend beyond human imagination. Swaroop Kittu Kolluri, founder and managing director of Neotribe Ventures, is using his experience as a Silicon Valley entrepreneur to invest in the emerging TechBio space. We spoke to Kolluri about the state of AI, the potential of technology to transform healthcare, and Neotribe's approach to investing. Kittu, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Danny.
We're going to talk about AI, biotech, and Neotribe's investment at the intersection of the two. While deploying AI into biotech is not a sudden phenomena, there has been an emergence of a large number of companies that are applying AI to various aspects of the healthcare continuum. Where are we in the evolution of AI and its application to healthcare and biotech?
I think we are still at the relative early innings of the application of AI and machine learning to all things biotech. However, what's changed in the recent past has been the emergence of data, the availability of data that people can use to train their models on. So that's been the big development recently.
And is that primarily through electronic health records, or?
Oh, I'm talking about, with various biobanks, with biobanks of founder populations, with some electronic health records becoming available. Companies like 23andMe, which was one of our investments back from my days at NEA, they've collected data painstakingly from consumers who have, joined their website and volunteered some of that data. AI is useless without data.
There's a lot of excitement over the potential of AI. There's also a lot of hype around it, as people tend to fail to distinguish between potential and the state of the art. How transformational do you think the technology will be?
I think it's going to be hugely transformational. I think AI is going to accelerate the pace at which we diagnose and cure diseases.
What does the biotech industry understand about AI today, and what don't they get yet?
I'd say the biotech industry has typically used a very traditional way of drug discovery, which involves a lot of medicinal chemistry, a lot of trial and error. And the prevailing joke amongst a lot of biotech and biopharma companies is, you test a drug on mice and then pray that it works in humans. And I think that AI has a way of de-risking that substantially. And so the biotech industry is intrigued about it and would like to explore this. But I think they are coming to terms with it and learning about it themselves.
So as you think about all of the different ways that AI can be applied to healthcare and biotech to address the various challenges, where do you think the biggest opportunities sit?
I'd say across the board. What I mean by that, when I think about healthcare at large, I think of healthcare as encompassing diagnostics, medical devices, and drug discovery, not to mention healthcare services. And in all of those areas, I can see artificial intelligence and machine learning have applications. And not everything has to be AI. I mean, people always confuse AI with machine learning. Those are related, but two very different things.
It's been a tough financing environment for biotech in general. One bright spot seems to be AI related companies. Neotribe invests both in applied artificial intelligence more broadly as well as biotech. What do you look for in these companies, and what distinguishes a Neotribe company from others that say you wouldn't invest in?
Yeah, so our mission is to invest in what we like to describe as breakthrough technologies that stretch the imagination, Daniel. And about 60% of our capital goes into companies in the software world. I call it the world of bits, up and down the enterprise track, infrastructure, cybersecurity, AI, ML, data analytics, and some applications. The remaining 35 to 40% goes into companies at the intersection of bits and atoms. And these are companies that are leveraging computer science, data science, AI, ML, computer vision to innovate in life sciences, clean energy, robotics, 3D printing, and the likes. And so that's where computational biology or bioinformatics falls squarely. And so that's what makes a Neotribe company, where it leverages some computational angle and uses that to innovate in diagnostics, medical devices, or drug discovery. And typically what we try to do is, insofar as computational biology is concerned, we like to invest in companies that are platform companies, that have a platform that can be used to generate multiple candidates, not just one. I think that's one area that it distinguishes us from other pure biotech VCs.
Looking at the investments you've made, Neotribe invests in seed, Series A, and Series B rounds. What's the investment size you typically make, and do you participate in subsequent rounds?
Yeah, so our typical check sizes range anywhere from $2.5 million at the low end to anywhere as high as $7.5, $8 million at the high end. And we typically are investing at the what I call mango seed or the Series A. We do reserve follow-on capital for our companies and participate in subsequent rounds. We also have a growth fund that we call Ignite that we use for some of our follow-on rounds in the Series
B. You've got a deep background in the world of technology. The pace at which biotech moves from idea to product is quite different. How do you think about exit strategies, and do you make investments without a clear exit in mind?
Yeah, I'd say that with a lot of our companies, we do look to see, okay, what are the exit options, whether they are in biotech or not. We look at what could be the likely exit options. Most companies get bought in the venture world. There are a few, obviously, who have breakout success and could go public. And so for our investments in the biotech area, we look to see if there are potential buyers for this company that would benefit from having, say, a platform company in their product portfolio. And that said, I mean, you can't over-index on what the exit strategy ought to be, because that can cripple the way you build that company. I mean, to be M&A is not strategy.
Beyond providing capital, my sense is that you work closely with companies you back. How do you engage with your portfolio companies? What's the value add Neotribe brings beyond capital?
I like to say that we like to think that capital is the least valuable part of what we bring to the table. We are company builders ourselves. A lot of us have deep operating experience, entrepreneurial experience. I myself have done two startups in my career. Back in the mid-90s, I helped co-found Healthion WebMD, which we took public. And then I was the co-founder and CEO of a company called Neotribe, which was the pioneer in the SSL VPN space. And that company became part of Juniper Networks by way of acquisition. And so, and then over the ensuing 11 years as a general partner at NEA, I was involved with, over 75 companies. And so I bring a lot of operating experience, company building skills, particularly in the 0 to 1, 1 to 10 phase. And that is the value add we bring to our companies. It's about how do you discover product market fit. And so that's sort of the generalist skills we bring to the
I wanted
table.
to get a sense of how you evaluate a potential investment and the decision-making that goes on at Neotribe. I thought we could walk through a few of your investments and have you explain what these companies do, what distinguished them from other companies you considered and didn't invest in, and what led to your decision to invest. So let's start with Empirico, which is using machine learning for target discovery and development. Why Empirico?
So Empirico has built a platform that trains and runs inference on data from the UK Biobank to identify intracellular targets at the sRNA level and at the protein level, and then designs drug candidates for those targets. What was exciting to us about Empirico was that one, the platform was working, and two, they were able to identify some pretty rare targets for diseases that are either diseases that have not yet been cured. And so that was what was exciting to us about that particular company. We also were very excited about Omri Gottsman and Shannon, who was his co-founder, and Brian, his CTO. So these are all factors that go into our decision-making: the team, the product, the technology, and of course, the markets that they're going after. And so, there's a very sort of sniper-like approach that they take in terms of which targets to go after, given the size of the market that those targets represent.
How about Plexium, which is developing targeted protein degradation therapies? Why did you invest in them?
Plexium was kind of like an engineering approach to drug discovery. They had built a nanoscale platform to find these candidates that could degrade, bind at the E3 ligase and degrade proteins. And so that was something that was pretty exciting to us. And we did a tremendous amount of diligence, actually hired a medicinal chemist to help us with that, and felt like they had something pretty differentiated. And, they've now got a very healthy pipeline. So that's what's exciting to us about Empirico. And we also were able to partner in both of these companies with biotech firms that brought that expertise to the table, like DCVC Bio.
You're also an investor in the precision diagnostics company, Billion to One. What made them compelling to you?
Yeah, Billion to One is a very exciting company. Billion to One has invented the world's first non-invasive prenatal test for single gene diseases. And they use a molecular counting platform, applying AI/ML to that. And co-founders with MD, PhD, or rather PhDs in biochemistry from Stanford University, and had come up with this platform and have executed marvelously since the company started and since our investment. And this is a company that is also using that same technology to build two oncology tests that we call North Star Select and North Star Response. North Star Select helps oncologists select the right kind of treatment for a particular patient and the disease type that they have. on North Star response monitors the response of that patient to that treatment. As you're probably aware, solid tumors behave like unborn bad fetuses, and they are also shedding cell-free DNA into the host's blood, much like a fetus does. So that was very exciting to us, and it classic a poster child for us of what we'd call a Neotribe company in this computational biology space.
My guess is you pass on far more investments than you make. What are the most common reasons you pass on an investment?
There are various reasons that we sometimes don't get there, and particularly, I'm assuming your question is within the realm of biotech, why we would pass on certain companies. I think one of the things that we look for is there value creation in venture timescale? That's one reason that we might say, okay, this is not looking like it could get there in 5-7 years from our investment. And so we're better off sitting on the sideline. Second is, is our capital going to de-risk this technology sufficiently that they will be able to raise capital at the next round? Third is, is the team the right team to go solve this problem? Do they have the core competencies for it? So these are some of the reasons why we sometimes may not get there. And, there are times when we are not right about it because we don't have all the information. But sometimes you just have to make some decisions and live with it and move on.
Any company faces business challenges. Are there challenges that are unique to companies looking to apply AI to business problems, or where they are well-established approaches to really change the way an industry works?
Particularly in the context of business-to-business applications, Daniel, AI does have some unique set of problems. For instance, explainability of AI is a pretty big issue inside of some industry sectors, because AI uses a lot of neural nets, and sometimes it's unclear as to what is contributing, what is the particular feature or factor that is contributing to a particular decision. And so if there is some kind of bias in the data that you're training that AI model on, then that bias persists in that AI model. And so not having that explainability can hamper your decision making. Does it make sense?
Yes, it makes a lot of sense. We've had a fairly difficult financing environment within biotech these days. There's certainly been more interest in AI, but what's the conversation like at the table, and is this a good time to be the guy writing the checks?
I think in general over the last year and a half to 2 years, it's been quite challenging for young companies to raise capital. And that's true of even companies in this biotech space, and companies. It probably is a touch easier for companies that are at this intersection of AI and biotech, but not that materially so. And what you also have is a situation where public multiples have come down pretty significantly. And I'm talking about revenue multiples of public biotech companies. And so that has had an impact on follow-on financings. There's a tremendous amount of dry powder out there that's sitting on the sidelines. But the difficulty a lot of later stage investors today seem to be having is their difficulty in pricing a deal. How do you price a deal of a company that is at the Series A or Series B? And so you're seeing a lot of investors do sort of inside rounds and notes and things like that to essentially kick the can down the road, if you will. But it's definitely a challenging environment. But what we're also seeing is quality rises to the top. The cream rises to the top. And companies that are really differentiated are having a much easier time raising capital. That's been our experience.
What advice would you offer entrepreneurs looking to raise money today? What can they do to capture the attention of a VC, and how can they increase their chances of success?
I think the answer is actually pretty simple, Daniel. Simple, but not always that easy, which is it all comes down to customers. And I'm answering this question in a very general way, right? I think, when you are able to demonstrate product market fit for your company, that will drive a lot of investor interest. And I define product market fit as sitting on two legs. Andy Ratcliffe has taught a course on this at Stanford. He talks about proof of value, proof of market. Proof of value is, have you identified a use case where the customer says, I'm going to rip it out of your hands. There's a hair on fire use case. Right? Whether that's use case or use cases, you got to identify that's proof of value. Proof of market is there a replicable sales model to acquiring similar or identical customers to where this use case applies. And it's got to be solved in that order, proof of value before proof of market. And I tell a lot of our entrepreneurs, if you demonstrate proof of value, you've earned the right to raise a Series A. If you've demonstrated proof of market, you've earned the right to raise a Series B. And then thereafter, it's all about growth. And so, how does one demonstrate proof of value? I'd say, 5 to 10 customers around the same use case would be a great example of proof of value. And all of them writing, meaningful checks into the company. And sometimes it may take as little as, a paid POC. Jeffrey Moore talks about, proof of momentum, and as another way of demonstrating proof of value. But so that is one thing that I would advise entrepreneurs to do is just be maniacally focused on proof of value or proof of momentum. And once you do that, you will attract, because, I talked about a lot of the dry powder, they're dying to invest in companies that are exciting. And so if you're able to generate that excitement, then you'll have an easier time raising that capital. It's also true that in this climate, it's also true that in this climate, there is a significant amount of pressure on from a valuation point of view. And so entrepreneurs have to be success sensitive and not valuation sensitive. Live to fight another day. These are all paper valuations. At the end of the day, what matters is what is that exit valuation.
Swaroop Kittu Kolluri, founder and managing director of Neotribe Ventures. Kittu, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thanks for listening. The Bio Report is a production of the Levine Media Group. To automatically download this podcast each week, subscribe to our RSS feed or through iTunes or other podcast manager. To join our mailing list, go to levinemediagroup.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to drop us a line or are interested in sponsoring this podcast, send an email to danny@levinemediagroup.com. Special thanks to Jonah Levine, who composed our theme music, and the Jonah Levine Collective, which performs it.